morning, buenos días. Good afternoon, buenas tardes. Good evening, buenas noches, whenever it is that you get to see this. My name is Miss Adri, and I'm here to teach you some stuff. And welcome to the next edition of Spanish Sundays. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about a word that many of us are already familiar with in English and in Spanish, and the word is nostalgia. So, in my research of the word nostalgia, I found that it is of Greek origin. Of course, we've had Arabic origins and we've had Greek origins, and this one is not the exception. And I found many different versions of this word that might have trickled down to the English language and the Spanish language. So, the first one is nostos, that means to return home, and algos, which means pain, and this comes from Greek. This also has the other word, which is nestai, I think that's how you pronounce it, which means to return. We have henesan from the Old English, which means to survive. Interesting. And nasate, which comes from Sanskrit, which means he approaches. So as we saw in the definition a little bit earlier, this word, nostalgia, represents a yearning, a sadness, a combination of both. And it is a Homeric word that was used to particularly illustrate that yearning of wanting to come home, which is very relevant if we've read or we've studied the Odyssey, which was written by Homer, where Odysseus has all of these different plights and all of these different adventures and obstacles that he has to overcome in order to come back to his home in Ithaca. And it takes over, I think, 10 years. I don't remember the exact amount of time, though. Then the word nostalgia was actually coined and used a little bit more often during the 16th century by a medical student who used it to describe the way that Swiss mercenaries actually felt while they were away from home fighting. And during the early modern period, it was actually considered to be a form of melancholy. And if you remember, we talked about melancholia and its medical definition and use a couple of episodes ago. Nowadays, most of the time, people use the word nostalgia or nostalgia, you want to Americanize it, to usually refer to something that happened during their childhood. For example, I was born in the 80s, so to me, I get a little bit nostalgic whenever I watch things that were popular when I was a kid during the 90s, etc. A lot of the times, people that were born in the 50s, they feel a little bit nostalgic when they hear things that happened or music from the 60s or the 70s. And it does kind of go with the original definition that it's kind of like a yearning or sadness, except that we don't associate it as something sad. We perhaps associate it as something that, oh, remember the time, remember all the things we used to do. Oh, remember when that was popular. Oh, remember when we used to dance to this song when we were kids? All of that. That is it for today's episode of Spanish Sundays. I hope that you enjoyed it. My name is Miss Adri, and I hope that I taught you some stuff today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my pages. I am on all of the social media. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And what makes you feel nostalgic? Let me know.